It has some dark songs on it. It has some of our brightest songs on it. It's called The Chaos, and I think it's got a mixture of everything in there. Everything that we do. There's harmonies, there's happiness, sadness, positivity. It's a positive album. That's what I would describe it as, a positive album.
Okay.
Yeah.
And quite a lot of message, would you say? There's quite a lot to be said, to be told from the album, if you like.
Yeah, there's a theme, and the idea that well, there's a few songs kind of on it that have a similar theme, and one of them's called Struck Dumb, and it's about my belief that every human being, without exception, is a potential genius at something. Maybe it's not music or art, but anything. I mean, some people are genius at making stained glass windows. Some people are genius at building tents or making microphones. Or I think the whole point of being a human being is to find your own personal genius, as in your way of creating something as opposed to destroying something. You know, and like, there's too much apathy in this society we live in, and I'm sick of it because no one's got any fucking energy. You know, like, people are lethargic, they don't do things properly, and like, they're wasting time watching sports all the time, or watching the television, watching X Factor. You know, it's a disgrace, it's a waste of life, it's a waste of intellect, you know, and that's what the message is. It's like, come on people, if you want something, you've got to make it happen.
What are your views on the music industry as it currently stands? Quite diverse, isn't it? Quite eclectic, but
yeah.
You know, what do you like? What would you say is, you know, our biggest strength as Brits?
I don't know. Like, the music business. This is our 10-year anniversary this year, and I couldn't even describe how much the business has changed.
I bet, yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, all the methods have changed. Certain old kind of mentalities are blatantly dying and being stabbed to death by new technology. And my main thing is, you've just got to go with it and try and maintain your integrity as a musician and as a songwriter and, you know, as a band. And it doesn't really matter. And if you do that, it doesn't really matter what happens to the business, because you'll still be there. It's in a mess, but I'm glad.
You'd say that?
Yeah, it's a mess. You know, the major labels basically, to some degree, ruined many aspects of how music's enjoyed. For example, in the 1970s, musicians didn't even become famous till they'd done like 5 albums, and most of them were in their 30s. And subsequently, the music was a lot of a higher quality, because now you got we got signed when we were teenagers, right? Our drummer was only 15. You know, like, a 15-year-old musician is not as good as a 25-year-old musician. You know what I mean? Like, there's too much emphasis. Yeah, like, kind of just professional-wise and skill-wise, sound-wise. You know, so music's basically been a little bit degraded by the business and the media, and like, I'm glad to see that major labels are kind of struggling a little bit, because they've had their day of doing what they're doing, and it's time to give the power back to the artists, you know, and that's why the internet is so important. The internet has come along to liberate us all, and it really does that. You know, people say, oh, what about illegal downloading? But I don't mind that at all, you know. If there's a 12-year-old boy who gets £10 a week pocket money, but he wants to listen to 50 albums worth of music, I'm not going to tell him, you know, he's my hero, not my enemy. Yeah. You know, and if he comes to one of our shows and buys a t-shirt, I mean, he's downloaded all of our music for free, I don't mind, you know. I'm not selfish.
Let me ask then, there must be contemporaries around you that you are a fan of, you do enjoy and you support. Yeah. Who names? Got any?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I love Vampire Weekend, Crystal Castles, I really like. I love, there's a band called Dutch Uncles, they're a new band, they're really good. Field Music, who from our town, Frankie and the Heartstrings, who are good friends of mine. I like a band called Errors. I love, they've just been on tour in America with a really good band called The Like, who are like a kind of all-girl 1960s style pop, really good pop songs. And another band called Static Jacks, who are like a kind of raucous, young indie punk rock band. There's loads. Max Tundra, who makes electronic music, I love him. Okay. All sorts.
So is it quite important to keep an eye on what everybody else is up to in terms of what your output is as a band?
No, it's not. No, because everything influences you. Not only music, people that you meet, places that you go, and you don't consciously, I'm not consciously aware of what other people are going for. You've got your own thing, your own path, and if you let other things distract you, then you lose your path, and then you're lost.
Interesting you just mention your path. America is going on at the moment, isn't it, to say? How have you, it's hard work? We quite often hear that it's really hard work, quite laborious. Is that a fair comment?
No, I mean, you know what, like, if you want it to be that way, it can be. I feel very privileged, you know, and we've just finished it's only like 2-week or 2.5-week tour. We came back from America yesterday, and I don't feel tired. I don't
at all.
Nah.
Well, we've come from Norwich, and I'm struggling. So.
Well, you need to work out how to make your energy go up instead of down, and that's all to do with drinking plenty of this and eating well, eating the right foods. You know, you need the fuel, a lot of health food, vegetables, you know, fruit, nuts, bit of meat maybe, but you know, you've got to bring the energy, you know, and when you're about to play a festival, you know, you're kind of a bit nervous, and you've got to like flip it round and turn it into excitement rather than fear.